Hello, my name is Anna Troy. In the SCA, I'm known as the Honorable Lady Anna de Byxe, and as of this recording in December 2023, I'm also the Albion Herald, that is the External Submissions Herald for the Kingdom of Drachenwald. In this film, I will first go through the different types of names and changes that you can make with the name submission form for individuals. And then I will focus on how to register a new primary name. If we start off with these two different columns of boxes here. So there is the name type. You can take and register a primary name, an alternate name, a household name, and other. Then you have the action type. Is it a new name? Is it a resubmission? On kingdom level or on laurel level, and laurel level is if it's been sent on to the final level in the US and it was returned. If it's a change, if you want to release the old name or if you want to retain it as an alternate name, and you can also change of a holding name, and I will explain the holding name later, an appeal, and then you have other. So that you can see by the pluses which other fields that are connected here. So for example, the alternate name, if my SCA name was already registered as Margaret Smith and when I have another name, then I would add it here at the name submitted, it's different and above. Or if one or more people was registering a household name. So the SCA names of the people who want to register a household name would be under society name. And as you can see, as it says household plus here, so then you put the household name under name being submitted. And then you have other specify here. And then you have a resubmission. To register an SCA name, there is a one-time payment, and then you get to try as many times as you want after that if it doesn't go through. But for us to know that that is the case, then you have to add here, name previously submitted but not registered, if any. Then you want to have it kingdom submitted from, and then date returned. And if you don't know these things, you can contact your local submission herald, the Edelweiss Herald or the Albion Herald, and we will try to help you. So let's start off with, I want to have my SCA name registered. And my modern name is Ramona Brave. I want to have the society name of Margaret Smith. So then I write Margaret Smith up here, and then I want it my primary name, and I want it to be a new name. Then you have the contact information. Now, address and phone number, you don't really need to fill those out unless you don't have an email address. We prefer contact via email, and we need this so that we can contact you and ask you questions if need be, but also to contact you back and give you information if your name has been registered or not. So at least an email address and also a branch name, and it's the smallest unit that you are in. In this case, it's a made-up shire of Blackmount. If you're just somewhere with no group, but you're in a kingdom, you don't need to write the kingdom name here. Then you have the date submitted. Now, if you have somebody that's helped you out a lot with this, then we want to have the consulting herald's name. And that person doesn't necessarily have the title of herald, but if somebody has helped you a lot with the documentation and there's questions, it's good if we know who to contact if we have questions about the documentation. So the consulting herald's name and email or phone. And when it comes to name, it can be the SCA name, it can be the modern name. And if you are registering a new name and you have not done anything before, you can just ignore all these that have the pluses in front of them. So I have added here Margaret Smith, that's being registered by Ramona Brave, email hunt@lane.com, and then it's from the Shire of Blackmount. And it's primary and it's a new name. So we start off with name processing preferences. This is so that we know, well, what changes you will be happy with. If you decide that, well, any changes that will get my name registered are okay, then you can just let these boxes be empty. The next level is I will accept the following changes to my name. It's okay to change the spelling as needed for Margaret Smith. And then you have, I will not accept any changes to my name, even if the name cannot be registered without such changes. We're talking dots over something. So if any changes are needed, well, it'll be sent back and you will have to do it again. So if my name must be changed, I care most about, and this is also good to fill in because we often get information about the name, but we don't really know what the intent of the submitter is. So please fill in what it is you care most about when it comes to your name. There's meaning, sound, spelling, language, and or culture. And in this case, I've added language and or culture. Ramona once, English, 16th century. Filling out all of these doesn't help us either. So at most 2 of these will give us an indication on what you care most about. And the desired gender of my name is male, female, neutral, don't care. In the SCA, you can have whichever gender you want on your registered name. Then you have an optional choice here. Please change my name to the authentic 4. For example, if I wanted to register the name Eric the Red, but I know that that's not what the Vikings would have called it, but I don't really know how to get hold of documentation, and I need some help, then I can ask it here to please change my name to be authentic 4, and then I would have written like Norse Viking, or because it says here, please be specific, e.g. 12th to 14th century or Irish or Welsh, rather than saying early or late or Celtic. Please do not select this option if you do not wish changes to your name. This can be skipped completely if you've done your research and know what you want. And then it's such that you may have submitted some heraldry as well, a device, which you can do at the same time you're registering a name or after you have registered a name. But what would happen then if your device can be registered but not the name? Because you have to have the registered name for the database to be able to hook on other things to it. So here it says, if you are or will soon be submitting another item, such as a device, badge, or household name, if the Laurel Sovereign of Arms finds that your name cannot be registered for any reason, and you do not already have a name previously registered, Laurel may create a holding name for you so that your other item can be registered. This holding name will be treated as your registered name until you register an acceptable name. There's no fee for changing a holding name. And if you remember up top, there was a little box for that, change of holding name up here. They take your first modern name and then add the group that you're from. In this case, it would have been Ramona of Blackmount. This is, I will not allow the creation of a holding name. I understand that if my name submission is returned, then my other submissions will be returned as well. If you don't care or you don't have a device, you can just skip this. So here we come to name documentation and consultation notes. And you don't have to just use this box here. You can add pictures from books that you've used, or if you have anything else that you need to attach, and that you can add to the email that you've sent this with. One thing that you should know about documentation is it's just information about the name. Information about why you want the name or the background of your persona is not necessary for the registration of the name. We just want to have information that will show that this name could have existed within the parameters that has been set. Ramona has started off here. I want a woman's name from 16th century England. And then there's information here that Margaret is found in Fair Names of English Folk, Late 16 English Names, by Chris Lanning. And then there's Smith, which is found in Fair Names of English Folk, Late 16 English Names, by Chris Lanning. She was in luck. It was actually one article that both had personal names and given names. And she could just use the same information for both. Sometimes when it becomes more complicated, there will be more complicated documentation here. More information will need to added. But you can ask your local herald for help with this. So there you have it. This is how you use the name submission form for individuals.